I am going to speak on Holy Mother. At Bishnupur, that is our hometown, that is my hometown at the time, she was staying in an inn on the porch. And two friends, were going out for a walk, and I was only then 14 or 15 years old, and there was Radhu, her niece, holding one of the pillars. Then we saw a holy man seated, and around him surrounded by him, there were many women seated there. So as both of us were going for a walk, we criticized this holy man. Look at the holy man surrounded by women. And as a result, what happened to me, see. Then we came back from our walk. It was a little dark, and this young man was to go in one direction to his own home, and I was to go in another direction to my home. But something drew me back, and I bowed down to this holy man, and he said, "Will you see Holy Mother?" I got excited. I said, "Holy Mother, you mean Paramahansa's wife?" "Yes." Then she was right there. And so I touched her toes. You see, we do that with our fingers. And she kissed me like our mother's kiss. Take the fingers in our fingers here on the chin, and then she puts it on her lips. And then she said, "Son, haven't I seen you before?" I said, "No, Mother, I have not seen you." But of course, mothers recognize their children, but children, unfortunately, do not recognize the mother, who is the mother of the universe. While she would be coming to Calcutta, once a week they would allow men to come and touch the toes of her touch her toes. And she would remain veiled. And so I used to go and touch the toes. And I used to go because I'd get wonderful sensation, like an electric shock every time I touched. And then later I learned that way she transmitted spiritual power. But I didn't know, but just for that sensation, because afterwards I'd feel a soothing influence in my whole body. And she used to come and live in Calcutta for 6 months as a general rule, and then go back to Jairambati for 6 months. One time, another friend of mine, I used to call him Paresh. Paresh and I together came to Bishnupur. In our home we stayed. And then we hired a bullock cart. And then in the morning, or it was rather late that we arrived. And she told her attendant, Rash Bihari, and from him we learned that Holy Mother told him that two of Rakhal's sons are coming. Keep some food, save some food for them. We did not write to her anything, nor there was any telephone, but she knew. And then, like a mother, she served us food on leaf plates. And she sat by us and asked us if we like this food, just as our mother does. If we like this, then should give more. So that way she fed us. And I remember still now that I have never eaten such food in my life. It was like nectar. I still remember that. When we left her, she stood by the door and kissed us. And as far as she could see, she kept on looking at us. This was the custom that she had with everybody that used to go to her. While we were students in Calcutta, they gave word to us that Mother will be coming to Belur Math and they need volunteers. So many of our college boys went and we stood in rows at the Belur Math, and then Holy Mother was carried in palanquin up to the gate, and then they had a chair prepared for her, and 4 disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, Maharaj, Swami Brahmananda, Swami Saradananda, Swami Premananda, and Swami Shivananda. They carried her. And then Maharaj gave order that nobody should bow down before before Mother at that time. But we saw Khoka Maharaj, Swami Subodhananda, he just rolled on the ground. And then Maharaj said, "Who is that? Who is that?" Then of course Khoka Maharaj in the meantime disappeared. And so she was carried by these 4 Swamis upstairs to the shrine room, and of course I believe she was worshipped at that time by these disciples. One thing I know, that while she was living, she was worshipped by hundreds and thousands of people as a living goddess. Then another very interesting story I know. I don't know if these are published at all. I have no idea. In the Udbodhan office, while Holy Mother was there, you see, there was a place downstairs. That was the Udbodhan office. And upstairs was the place for Holy Mother. There was a bedstead. And then on the other side of the bedstead, there was a shrine. And she stayed in the shrine during that time. Now I'll tell you how Swamiji Maharaj and Swami Yogananda, who was her attendant, how they would touch her feet. Swamiji would dip himself in the Ganges 6-7 times. He thought he was not pure enough to touch her feet. And Maharaj would go and just like a little boy has done something wrong and afraid to approach mother. And so he would compose himself first. Hello Radhi, how are you? And then would go and bow down to mother and would try to come away. Then, but mother would say, Rakhal, sit down. And Swami Yogananda was her attendant. He would not even touch her feet. Where she would stand, there she would take the dust after she left.